What's going on, y'all? It's Mikey T, the movie star. I'm back with another exclusive, and today I'm actually going to go over the 32-page indictment against ARAB and OBH. This indictment includes Abdul West, aka Assault Rifle Ab, aka ARAB, aka El Patron, aka The Goon, Jamal Blanding, aka Kaz, aka Bionic Kaz, aka D'Angelo Smith, Jamal Hickson, aka Meliano, aka OG, Richard Chase Hoover, aka Boog, Dantes Stewart, aka Taz, Amir Boyer, aka Moolah, Daryl Baker, aka Shoddy, and Hans Gadsden, aka No Breaks Bras. It's alleging that these men conspired and agreed together with other unknown and unknown to the grand jury to knowingly and intentionally distribute controlled substances, that is, 5 kilograms or more of a mixture and substance including containing a detectable amount of cocaine, a Schedule II controlled substance, 280 grams or more of a mixture and substance containing a detectable amount of cocaine base, crack, a Schedule II controlled substance, and 50 grams or more of methamphetamine, a Schedule II controlled substance, in violation of the Title 21 United States Code Section 841. All right, so we're going to get into the manner and means. It was a part of the conspiracy that defendants Abdul West, Jamal Blanding, Jameel Hickson, Richard Chase Hoover, Dantes Stewart, Amir Boyer, Daryl Baker, and Hans Gadsden coordinated with each other and with others known and unknown to the grand jury. Hereinafter, this group, a drug trafficking organization, will be referred to collectively as the DTO. So when I mention DTO, I'm going to be referring to the drug trafficking organization in further videos and today. To obtain distribution quantities, that is, multi-kilogram quantities of various controlled substances, including methamphetamine and cocaine, from the sources of supply located in California and elsewhere. At all times, Defendant West was the leader of the DTO, the drug trafficking organization. 2. Defendant Abdul West owned and or maintained properties in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, within which he and the DTO could gather to coordinate drug trafficking and manage their drug trafficking operation, including 3234 North Sydenham Street, Philadelphia. As we mentioned in one of the last previous videos, this is also known as the Mansion, and 2900 North Taylor Street, Philadelphia, also known as the Lounge. So they've got the Mansion and they've got the Lounge. Defendant West and other members of the DTO maintained properties within which they could gather to coordinate drug trafficking and manage their drug trafficking operations, including 2323 Race Street, Philadelphia, and 250 North Christopher Columbus Boulevard, Philadelphia. Members of the DTO used false identifications to rent apartments at 2323 Race Street and 250 North Christopher Columbus Boulevard to prevent investigations into their background and prevent detections by the law enforcement. So here it's saying they use fake names to buy properties. A lot of people were saying that ARAB and the OBH were renting high-line apartments and using it as drug storage facilities. So the defendants West, Hickson, and Blanding would coordinate the delivery of various controlled substances. So basically they said ARAB, Hickson, and Blanding, Hickson is Meliano and Blanding Kaz. So the defendant West, Hickson, and Blanding, and as we heard in the testimony from Taz, the only one he really had information on out of those three was actually ARAB. So I haven't heard or read any testimony about people calling Hickson or Blanding, Kaz, and Meliano the leaders of the operation. So let's get into it. Defendants West, Hickson, and Blanding would coordinate the delivery of various controlled substances from sources of supply in Los Angeles, California to Philadelphia. The defendants West, Hickson, and Blanding would coordinate the delivery of various controlled substances from sources of supply in Los Angeles, California to Philadelphia. Defendants Hickson and Blandon carried money for payment and arranged for purchase of distribution quantities of controlled substances on trips between Philadelphia and Los Angeles. Defendants Hickson and Blandon traveled by air to and from the Philadelphia International Airport to Los Angeles International Airport to arrange for shipments of controlled substances for themselves and other members of the DTO, the Drug Trafficking Organization, to negotiate price and to pay for shipments and controlled substances with the source of supply in California. So it looks to me like right there, like they just took ARAB out of the equation. They just totally took ARAB out of the equation, and they're saying that Kaz and Meliano were the ones who would go to California and they would pay for shipments, they would price, and they would negotiate prices. None of that sounds like it has anything to do with ARAB to me. I think ARAB was most likely back at the studio writing some music. Let's continue. Defendant Hoover drove his Volvo truck tractor from Philadelphia to Los Angeles. Hoover. That is Boog. Hoover is Boog. Remember that, because in a few days or a day or two, I'm going to put out an official report about how some evidence was tampered with between taking a picture of in the white Jeep Cherokee and the blue Sedan that was also mentioned that could have been at the scene. Defendant Hoover drove his Volvo truck tractor from Philadelphia to Los Angeles, California, where he would coordinate with defendants Hickson and Blandon to collect distribution quantities of controlled substances and U.S. currency and drive it back from Los Angeles to Philadelphia. So it looks to me here like Hoover, let me get the full name. Hoover, Richard Chase Hoover, a.k.a. Boog, is the guy who was actually driving the narcotics, is what they're alleging here. They're alleging that Boog would meet up with Hickson and Blandon to collect distribution quantities of controlled substances and U.S. currency and drive it back from Los Angeles to Philadelphia. 6. Defendants West, Hickson, Blandon, Boyer, Gadsden, and Baker coordinated the arrival of the controlled substances with Hoover and each other to arrange for the controlled substances to be broken down into street-level distribution quantities at properties controlled by members of the DTO, including the mansion 2323 Race Street and 250 North Columbus Boulevard. Wow. So they've got 3 different locations there, and they're saying that the defendants West, Hickson, Blandon, Boyer, Gadsden, and Baker, they had coordinated the arrival of the controlled substances, and they would each arrange for the controlled substances to be broken down into street-level distribution quantities at properties controlled by members of the DTO. Again, in my previous statement, if ARAB is renting some of his friends' property, some of his associates' properties, he shouldn't be held accountable for what these people are doing in their properties. ARAB is just trying to give them a means to survive. A lot of people out there cannot even get an apartment this day and age because they will not be approved. A lot of people will not be approved because of credit, bad credit, no credit, whatever it is. You can't even get an apartment out there unless you link up with a landlord who's going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Why is none of this being taken into consideration? ARAB didn't go to California to pick up the narcotics. ARAB didn't drive the tractor trailer. ARAB didn't do none of this. He didn't drive between California and Philadelphia. The one time that's reported ARAB was in California, I remember, is when he was actually out there meeting up with Birdman. He was out there with Compton Menace and Birdman, and they were in the middle of LA and they were shooting a blog. So that's the only time I remember ARAB in California. Other than that, he was doing shows in Connecticut, Philadelphia, New York. He really hadn't branched out to the Miami, all these areas. He was really Carolinas, Philadelphia, Virginia. These are the areas he was in. But let's get back into this. I went on a little tangent there. So the members of the DTO pooled their money together to pay for the controlled substance and operational expenses, and subsequently shared in the proceeds of the drug trafficking. Right there, clearly stated, members of the DTO pooled their money together to pay for the controlled substances and operational expenses. and subsequently shared in the proceeds of the drug trafficking. Okay, so why are you making Arab the top level guy then if you're blatantly admitting in this indictment that they would all pool their money like how people pool their money to get some weed, and that, just because you guys pool your money to get some weed, you don't necessarily have a figurehead in that. So when shipments of the controlled substances from Los Angeles included cocaine, some members of the DTO would cook a portion of the cocaine to create distribution quantities of cocaine base, crack. Defendant West established roles and responsibilities for members of the DTO, including assignment, certain narcotics, trafficking streams to various lieutenants who included defendants Blanding, Baker, and Boyer. So they're saying here that Blanding, Baker, and Boyer were lieutenants to Arab. The defendants West, Blanding, Stewart, Baker, Boyer, and Gadsden, as well as others known and unknown to the grand jury, distributed the controlled substances both in and around Philadelphia area. Members of the DTO broke down the kilogram quantities into smaller quantities to sell to their individual customers. They sometimes sold distribution amounts between themselves when one of their individual customers wanted something one member of the group did not have, but which another member of the group did have. So the defendants Harmon and Hoover, as well as other members of the DTO, were responsible for staying with and protecting the controlled substance supplies kept at the various residences owned and maintained by West and other members of the DTO. 12. Members of the DTO kept firearms with them at various DTO residences to intimidate those with whom they dealt and to protect their drug stashes and the profits derived therefrom others who may attempt to rob them. Defendants West, Boyer, and Gadsden and other members of the DTO wrote and produced and distributed songs via the internet and social media which lyrics reflected their drug trafficking activities and threats of violence to others to protect and maintain their drug trafficking activities and prevent witness from cooperating with law enforcement. So they're saying that West, Arab, Boyer, his little brother Mullah, and Gadsden, who was another rapper with OBH. So this is how they're really tying Arab's brother into this, apparently. They're tying him in through the produced and distributed songs released on the internet and social media with lyrics that reflected their drug trafficking activities. So you're telling me that you're going to accomplish Arab's little brother just because he helped him distribute his music? You're going to bring him into the case just because of that? Defendants West and other members of the DTO recruited lower street-level drug distributors, known and unknown to the grand jury, to distribute controlled substances throughout Philadelphia and the surrounding area and return the proceeds to the members of the DTO. 15. Members of the DTO used their cellular telephones to coordinate with each other and those outside the DTO to acquire, transport, and distribute controlled substances throughout Philadelphia and the surrounding area. The individual hereafter identified as Buyer 1, whose identity is known to the grand jury, was a confidential informant working with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, posing as a private citizen interested in purchasing narcotics. All right, everybody, I want you to stay tuned because in the next episode of Revealing the OBH Indictment on Fed Files, we are going to get into the confidential informants. We're going to get into some of the organized buys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I know where everybody's heart's at. Y'all know where mine's at. And it's free Arab, free Dark Low, free all the men, free everybody locked up involved with this case because I'm seeing a lot of holes in it. Everybody, if you want to stay in tune with me, I'm going to follow everybody back on Instagram that follows me in accordance of this video. Y'all can stay up to date and in tune. My Instagram is Mikey T _ the movie star. Follow me on the gram. I'm going to follow you right back. It's Mikey T _ the movie star. Everybody, I appreciate the support. Stay tuned. I'll have another episode for you guys tomorrow.